We're going to activate the camera here by holding down the shutter button for a second. See, it loads up. Now the thing is, if you want to take landscape formatted pictures, you actually have to open up the slider, which makes the shutter button, which is back here, pretty hard to access. Fortunately, you can still use the D-pad center button. In order to get to the settings, you have to go through this odd step of bringing up the menu, hitting settings, and then going through a relatively easy to use menu. If they just brought that up directly, it'd be a heck of a lot nicer. In any event, no focusing, no autofocus, anything like that, so you just press the button, takes the picture. It's a little bit slow, which is probably the reason Pantech added that iPhone-like shutter animation there. Camera works okay for normal pictures with reasonable amount of light, but when you get into shooting with some other settings, let's just change the resolution here, you'll see that it distorts the aspect ratio, which is kind of strange. Take the picture and then look at the shape of the box. You might notice that it changes. It's stretched out vertically, which is kind of weird. But as long as you're shooting in the full 2 megapixel 1600 by 1200 resolution mode, you won't have a problem with that. One of the things that's really nice with most Windows mobile phones is how easily you can search for contacts. You notice from the home screen here, if we just start typing a name, in this case I'm going to type my own, M-I, start seeing potential matches. And if I hit the space down here, I can actually start searching on the last name as well. So space and then O, and it gets limited to people that match first and last name. You can also do that from the home screen with the QWERTY keyboard as well. So you can type J-O-H space D and you see John Doe. You can pull up the contact itself, see what it looks like. You can put a picture in there. Pretty straightforward, stores an awful lot of information. Contacts list is also kind of nice. Move through your list of contacts and then you can move left and right to change which contact you're actually accessing. Mobile, work, text. Pretty useful. If I press down on this record button, you're going to bring up the quick access menu like I mentioned before. You can see it gives you good easy access to powering the phone on and off, task manager to see which applications are running, and also for setting profiles. One of the problems I have with it though is that the record button and the shutter button are right next to each other, so often when I'm trying to hit the shutter button I end up hitting the record button just by virtue of pinching the device. So it would have been nicer if they were a little bit offset so that didn't happen as easily. If you long press the record button, you get this voice dialing, speaker independent system,
Say command.
call John Doe.
More than one John Doe. Please select. Dialing.
Easy enough to bring up a speakerphone when you're dialing. Just go through the menu here.
AT&T 411 info. Say a city and state, or say...
And hit the end button down here to end the call. It's worth pointing out that unlike a lot of the AT&T devices, the internet sharing application is enabled by default, so you can easily use the phone as a Bluetooth modem or a USB modem if you use the included USB cable. The AT&T Navigator, which is built by Telenav, is also supported on this device. It's not pre-installed, but you can easily install it just by clicking on the shortcut in the menu. It's also a trial of Mobi TV, and of course ActiveSync for syncing over the air for push email and contacts and things like that. I have this hooked up to an Exchange server. So that's our look at the Pantech Matrix Pro, the CH20 for AT&T. Dual sliding messaging device. Runs Windows Mobile 6.1 smartphone OS. Very good looking design, functional as well. It's just missing some of the high-end multimedia features that a lot of people are expecting today. There's no touchscreen, relatively weak at least, 2 megapixel camera, and no 3.5mm headphone jack. Wi-Fi is also lacking, but AT&T does at least let you use the phone as a modem. So that's it, Pantech Matrix Pro. I'm Michael Orrell from MobileBurn.com.